everyone who might be listening, even if it's just Blaque Cherie and Dorkwitch listening later in the universe. Everybody, this is episode D of Dorklist, the Dorklist podcast. Title yet to be confirmed, but I'll leave the Victoria Cherie. Emerging from
Yes.
the fine line between calm and chaos is illustrator, writer, and accidental cult leader Blaque Cherie, a 30-year-old Gemini who's taking life one day at a time as she manages life with chronic illness. Heyo! A new understanding of her own and a new understanding of her own neurodivergence. Blaque Cherie expresses herself through any medium, through playlists or cooking, in order to find a way to reach out and connect with others. She is currently on a journey of self-discovery through illustration, burlesque, and whatever else she can find in her explorations. Victoria Blaque Cherie, thank you so much for coming on the Dorklist.
Thank you for asking me. I saw your message and I was like, oh my God, someone wants to interview me? What the hell?
You're a celebrity to me, like in my heart. Like you did just go viral. I mean, and that's a separate thing. Even if the viral Insta post hadn't been viral, it still would have been the comfort pile. That is the
Yes.
first and primary thing I needed you on my dork list for. Anybody, if you haven't seen it yet, just look up hashtag comfort piles or comfort pile on anything.
Yeah,
And
literally now.
if you're anything like me, you already know what it is without knowing what it is.
I've been trying to like not like kind of go viral for the longest time, but then I kind of like gave up because I would put vlogs out, they would never do well. I'd put a lot of effort into videos and maybe 5 to 10 people would see them or even comment or interact. And then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna just, let my freak flag fly. Just chill, like do something that relates to me, that expresses me and, not really think about who's going to see it, like start making stuff that I would want to see and that relates to myself. It was actually a video before that that I did about, and it was just really silly, like my thoughts when I'm thrifting. And that one did super duper well too, but it didn't
Really?
have the same, it actually got more views than the comfort pile video, but didn't have the same sort of effect, I guess. But then the
Okay.
second video I did was the comfort pile, and I posted them both to TikTok. The comfort pile went semi-viral on TikTok, but then when I put it on Instagram, I just saw it like take off, and I was like, what is happening?
Oh my
And it
God.
was just something that I always did, always just carried stuff with me, whether it was in a bag, a little suitcase when I was a kid,
Yeah.
just always have my stuff with me, like notebooks. At some point I had this little like, those bendy drawing men.
Just
So
the like the posable artist guys. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
so I used to carry this guy with me in like a Konkin backpack, thinking that I would draw after working at a summer camp. Never used it, but it was just in there with like 3 or 4 books, a pencil case. And at the time, all I had was an iPhone, no iPad or anything like that, and my iPod Touch. And that was
Nice.
like I would go after work to the gym, then I would go to a cafe and just like sit and chill and just drink my drink, not even go into the bag really, just,
Yeah.
and this was before scrolling, so I wasn't doom scrolling yet. So the comfort pile was still there, even though I wasn't doom scrolling. It was just like the stuff that I needed that kind of helped me get through the day, I guess, while I was working at the summer camp, or just like knowing that I had that stuff with me.
Like what was in that summer camp pile?
It was Catch 22, the book, and then I think I had the Alchemist book as well. I was like switching between those two reading. And
Okay.
then sketchbook, some pencils because I started drawing again. And then the little bendy drawing guy. And that was pretty much it because I it's only now that I have like a schedule, like the very specific notebooks that I like multiple notebooks. So like the one it's like this one's for ideas, this one's for like other ideas.
I'm staring at the stuff on your shelves behind you. So, without further ado, I want to talk about, hey, Blaque Cherie, what is on your dork list? What's it? What's your fandoms of heart? I could probably guess 5 of them from looking behind you right now.
So we have Sailor Moon, Naruto, plushies, Hello Kitty, plants, 80s style geese, mini boba fridge on the side, brats, and then lots of like stationery and pens because I was a gel pen girl as a kid.
Is there literature of your own? in the works?
Maybe I may have a couple of chapters that I have written about a witch and a werewolf. I've only ever done self-publication, which is like the magazine that I did. I thought I would just self-publish any short stories or any smut if I ever wrote it as well.
That's
Like
awesome.
make some cute booklets
Yeah.
with like nice like embroidery and things like that. Like
Yeah.
kind of like a old style Art Nouveau or Victorian style
I love.
novels.
Was the magazine that you self-pub, Emotional
Yes.
Magazine, back in 2018? The
Yes.
floor is yours, Blaque Cherie.
The magazine itself was about my dislike for social media at the time, just because all that really existed was Facebook and Instagram. And for me, those were like places of popularity. You needed to like have a lot of followers. Everything you post is very highly judged. And it just felt like it wasn't a place for artists. And now we have those conversations about how much artists hate social media. Back then, no one was talking about it because it wasn't so much so that you needed Instagram yet, whereas influencers were having a very easy time. There was a new uptick in talking about like mental health, anxiety, and there was a I saw a complete connection between the anxiety of that people were experiencing and social media. So the first two issues were monachopsis, which was the subtle but persistent feeling of being out of place. And I still relate to that. I did everything. Yeah, that's my face. And then there are also little tears, pearl
Yes.
tears. And
Pearl.
I did a photo shoot with friends, and they helped because I wanted to be on the cover of all the issues. Because also it was a way to sort of bring, oh, not awareness is not the word, but more like imagery for Black women that was alternative and different than what we're used to seeing, because I felt like I never saw myself anywhere. Like it was another aspect of like creating a magazine. I actually initially wanted to do like a lot of POC artists and BIPOC artists, but I didn't get as many submissions from that group that I was targeting, because at the same time I felt like there was no space outside of social media to help artists to show their work, because that pressure to have to continuously make work, to continuously post something new was too much. When artists are selling something, they're selling their art, which is personal to them. So when you're sharing that somewhere, it's almost like, okay, this algorithm doesn't like me, it's not showing it to people who will like me, why am I even posting?
What about issue number two?
Yes, this is issue number two, kind
Oh
of
my
like the
God.
same visual concept, talking to each other throughout each issue.
Oh my
So like the
God.
third issue is going to also have a different styled head
That's
as well.
amazing. I love that.
The second issue was Ennuiement, and it was the bittersweetness of arriving in the future, seeing how things turned out, but not being able to tell your past self. This one was based off of the fact that for the first issue, it was really hard. Like I had no money making these, and I was working with someone who like completely tried to take over the idea and kind of like basically Instagramize it. That was like kind of the whole, like, not getting the point, like, no, 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 this is like not social media styled at all. Like I don't want that at all. The second issue is just sort of like the redemption of being able to be like, okay, this is like the vision I really had for the first one. I was working on the third issue. I was making videos and about to do GoFundMe, and that was 2020. And we all know what happened then. I also ended up getting cancer for the second time around the same time. And I was like totally like, no, 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 no. This lump in my forearm is a lipoma. Nothing's happening. Like nothing's going to happen. Oh, this pandemic is, it's going to be done in a month. Like I'll be back in Montreal working on this magazine, no problem. 9 months later, like I hadn't seen my boyfriend, hadn't been back to my apartment
Oh my
in
God.
Montreal, and I was now basically learning how to reuse my hand and also how to walk again, because they like sliced my thigh open to like get the skin graft. So they needed like completely new skin to remove the sarcoma, cut out the margins, and couldn't keep anything
Yeah,
that was touching it. So
right.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. You were a survivor of cancer several times, I understand.
Yes.
Chronic pain or chronic illnesses.
When I was like 4 or 5-ish, I stopped walking. Like completely stopped walking. And I went to a bunch of doctors in New York and they had no idea what was wrong with me. They thought I was faking. And so that led to my mom trying to force me to walk a lot because, she was young. She was like what, like 32,
Sure.
33. Like I couldn't imagine having a kid and like they stop walking and it's just like the doctors are telling me like she's faking, so okay, but I know there's something wrong, but it would be so much better if it's just that she's faking, you know?
Right.
After a while of it nothing changing, my grandmother told my mom like, "Hey, come to Montreal." She was born in Montreal, so come see the doctors here. And immediately they told me I had leukemia. It was scarring, and I'm only understanding it now because I'm doing therapy to deal with like my medical trauma.
Sure.
But I had to leave my dad, had to leave my baby brother in New York, stayed in Montreal while getting treatment. Definitely got a fear of needles. That continued on until I was able to come back to New York and go to a hospital called Memorial Sloan Kettering. Shout out, they're amazing. And started continuing my treatment there. And then finally went into remission at age 8. And then, so once a year up until 18 is when I stopped. And so I was like cancer free for 10 years. When I was 22 to 24, I started having like issues with my period. But it was just like, but nothing like, no crazy issues. Like I would have my period, it was like intense for the third day, for example, and then it would be fine. And then I met my boyfriend, and then my period stopped. And it took like 3 or 4 appointments to be able to be like, oh, you have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. And they also told me I had a fibroid, but not just appointments. I had to go to 3 or 4 different doctors. And that was over the span of like 2 or 3 years to
Oh
just
my
get the
God.
like a true diagnosis of PCOS where they were able to see my ovaries had the cysts. So like no one else had done that. Like I had to go to a doctor in New York, pay like $800 at the time because they didn't accept insurance to be able to actually just know that I have PCOS. And still now I don't really have treatment for PCOS. Like I'm only taking metformin. And so at some point I was like, okay, I'm just going to try and skip my period. And I talked to the gynecologist about that, and she was like, "Yeah, sure, that's fine. Just make sure to at least every 4 months or so, like try and induce the period or something
Sure.
like that." And I induced it at some point, and it just never stopped. I was still on birth control, and I was still bleeding, but the
Oh my
bleeding was
God.
lessened. So what I found out was that it was actually a fibroid causing these issues with my period, which was the heavy bleeding. I was hospitalized like 3 times for like losing so much blood that I was like shaking, chattering. The first time I was hospitalized, they didn't do anything besides give me like saline drip, no pain medication, no iron infusion, nothing. And they just sent me home. And then finally, I found a doctor who was able to take out the fibroid. And with the back and forth, changing of plans and appointments and scans, I didn't get the surgery until like July 11th. So like 2 months ago. And I had
Oh my God.
crazy plans. Crazy plans. Like I wanted to do my art shop. I wanted to get more tattoos. I wanted to do so much. And now I'm like squeezing as much as I can into the last few weeks of summer because that video of me carrying the comfort pile was like a few days after my surgery because I was at home. I couldn't do much still, but I was still trying to like do outfit videos during the day.
Right.
I was doing a sourdough starter videos.
Oh my God.
Um, and so I was doing a lot of like content again because I finally had energy. So I was excited and able to do stuff again. That's where the comfort pile video hopped in, and I was like, wow, no more fibroid. And now I went viral. Like, what else is going to happen in the next coming months? And now I'm being
Oh.
interviewed. So it's like, oh my God, what's happening?
So hey everybody, we're back again. Erica had a technical issue. And I mean, how's the health factor now?
Going super well. I
Oh.
started the gym again. I'm doing burlesque classes. I
Oh
was
my
able
gosh.
to go out 3 days out of the weekend for the first time in like 2 years. So most days
Oh my
I
God.
can go out like one day and then I would start cramping and bleeding.
Oh my
And
God.
then I would be out for a week. Like
Yeah,
couldn't do anything. But
right.
now I'm like I have energy, like I'm waking up wanting to do stuff, still waking up pretty late, but like I think I just need lots of sleep because of the PCOS.
Right.
Um
Also,
but
you're healing from a lot of physical trauma too and emotional trauma.
yes, Yes,
So, all
definitely.
right.
So I'm in therapy,
Mhm.
and my therapist is telling me to be more unhinged. And
Really?
so yes.
Hats off to
So
your therapist.
no, literally, she like loves the fact that I dyed my hair,
Oh,
loves the tattoos, wants me to pursue the like all the things I'm doing, just like super duper supportive, which is so nice,
that's fantastic.
which is amazing.
That's
Yeah. My
I'm
mom is a bit
I'm
scared, but hey.
Why is mom scared? Why is Mama Black
Because
Cherie scared?
um it started off when I got my first tattoo, and she's always been afraid of tattoos. So this one was like it's like lavender in an Art Nouveau frame with a couple
Oh,
butterflies.
oh my God, yeah.
And so the lavender was like she always wore lavender lotion
Mhm.
when I was getting treatment. And it was
Yeah.
like very, very pungent. So I still remember the smell while I was like going to sleep under the
Yeah.
anesthesia, or like when they
Um,
were putting me to bed, or like half asleep when they
yeah.
would do things. And so it was like the first tattoo was like I wanted it to be something meaningful. And after that I went all out because I was doing social media for a tattoo artist. So doing social media work, recording videos, editing videos, and stuff like that. And I realize now, like, a lot of the reason why I got so turned off to being social in general was because I wasn't speaking to people. I was speaking to people who were neurotypical,
Yeah.
and it was painful, extremely painful.
Yeah, but it accidentally led to you starting a cult. Let's talk about that.
Perfect segue.
Flawless. Hey, anybody who does podcast sings, if you need segues, I'm here for it. 5 cents a piece.
I don't even know how to describe it. It was just the difference between Catholic school and public school. Maybe it was because like at the time where I transitioned from like sixth grade to like middle school is just fucking rough. Especially being like a Catholic school kid, definitely felt like I'm definitely not in the right school, or I'm not in the
Oh,
right place. And it was honestly the first time I'd been around a lot of like other black kids. And in my mind, in my Catholic school is predominantly white,
yeah.
with more and more black girls coming. At the time, it felt like I was one of the only black girls, one of three or four that I didn't necessarily get along with at the time. When I went to public school, I was like, oh, I'm going to make friends with black kids. And I was just kind of like, just didn't fit in. So I tried to change myself a lot, changed my style, changed the music that I listened to, just tried to become a person that they would accept. It never worked, pod. And,
Love
um,
that.
and so in once I started going to high school, like that summer, I was kind of like, I'm going to transform myself into someone who the popular kids like. I was called annoying for being excited, annoying for talking, annoying for just being myself. So I felt like I had to transform myself into a completely different person to be able to get anywhere or to do anything. And so by like sophomore year, I was very jaded
Yeah.
and really disliked people and disliked just like being social.
Hmm.
It was like when I did get like when I was part of a group at some point, it was fun until like someone said something extremely racist to me. Like I even remember in middle school, like at a certain point, I just stopped hanging out with people and sat at a table by myself with the teachers because I was just like, I don't want to be around people anymore. I was done. Or
I,
like it was
I
like
just feel
the
that on that
space,
molecular level.
just and it was just like
Yeah.
I didn't trust people. And I think
Yeah.
the hard part is that it scarred me for up until now. Like I'm still like, oh my God, am I annoying? Am I gonna be annoying to this person? Like if I'm my true self, will people accept me? Which is like I can be 100% myself with my boyfriend and in my apartment, and then it feels like, and it's like like learning to unmask, learning that I'm not like really a shy person. It's just like, don't give me a lot of negative attention, you know what I mean? Like don't stare at me. It's like the oh my God, you're out of your room today, what's up? And you're like, fuck.
Pathological demand avoidance. It happened to me about 4 months ago, for more recently that I recognized. I'm like, what the hell did just went through my body? I was doing the dishes, and that's my least favorite house chore. It's physically painful for me.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably some childhood trauma associated with it. I was doing the dishes. My husband walks by and he just walks, he's like, oh, it looks nice in here. Or something, your face. That's pathological demand avoidance. The fact
Oh.
that he perceived it, my husband,
Yeah.
who I'm in love with, who I adore, He perceived me doing the dishes. And it was the equivalent of, oh, you're doing the dishes? And I'm like, not anymore. Like the fact that he saw it, like I don't clean while he's home in case he thinks I'm doing it because he's home and I might
Oh my
he might
God.
he might think that it's because I'm doing it only because he's home. I also, when I go to doctor's offices, if I worry on the ride there, if I tell them I have a history of trauma with people not believing me, are and I'm trying, because of my TBI, my traumatic brain injury, I have memory issues, so I'm trying to remember that. It's the young adulthood stuff that's hard for me to remember. Anything since age 24 or 25 forward.
Mm,
That's when the
okay.
accident happens. Childhood stuff is very clear, and unfortunately, most of that turns out to have been trauma and emotional, mental, physical abuse.
Mm-hmm.
But the part that comes through loud and clear is my talking to myself on the way to my appointment to go over and just like remember what the points I'm trying to say. Not memorizing conversation stuff, not that
Of
level,
course.
but
Uh-huh.
more like, okay, they're going to ask me about X, Y, and Z. Even if I have it written down, it's still just helpful to talk to myself out loud. As I'm saying it to myself in the car, I start to feel guilty because I'm pretty sure there's a chance that doctor is going to think I'm lying about telling them that I'm not lying.
Oh, 100%. No,
Ugh.
like I didn't know that that was a thing.
Pathological demand avoidance is why I hate being perceived at home. I love being alone. I love being alone because I get to be authentic. Like I will not start a bigger house craft project
Mm-hmm.
unless my husband's out of the house or I know he's in his office for like the next 5 hours. Because if he comes out, my autonomy's gone.
Completely get it. I
Yeah.
completely get it. It was like somebody in my immediate family being like oh, you need to get up and be productive while you're reading or watching a show. And it's just like, and I know that's where I have trouble like illustrating or doing things that don't immediately make money. I'm so sorry.
Continue. The hostess is having a moment because she also feels this on a molecular level. Carry on.
Just like
God.
I need to be productive today. I need to be productive today. And it's like, but it's like such a, it's such a, like, and that's why I also hate like that idea, like you should study business, you should study engineering. It's like, it's so vague. What do you mean I need to be productive? What do you want me to do?
It's
I
so
thought I was being
subjective.
productive.
Productive is Productivity is subjective. I have, I'm sorry, with my chronic pain, my chronic illnesses, my traumas, my whatever else acronyms I want to start listing right now, I have unpredictable moments of energy. Moments.
Exactly.
I'm not saying weeks. I'm not saying
No.
hours. I'm saying moments, chunks of time. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
15 minutes. Sometimes it's 3 minutes. Sometimes it's 3 days.
Yeah.
I have to I have I'm getting better at starting set plans for whichever of those moments I wake up to.
Hmm.
But I can see patterns in the unpredictability. Since the bullying, how has that sort of segued into your learning about your neurodivergence?
I'm working on my self-image, but I
Hmm.
have a very negative self-image of myself, like to the point where it's like some days I couldn't even look in the mirror without crying,
Mm,
type of thing.
yeah.
So, and my biggest way of expressing myself as a kid was the way that I dressed. And so that changed a lot. And now I'm trying to find my well, not find my personal style. I think I have. It's more like actually expressing my personal style, actually taking the chances and not really giving a shit about what other people think. Also, the problem with being bullied is that you sometimes find yourself having friendships with your bullies. And so I started having issues around like my creativity again.
Yes.
So I felt like it just created this imposter syndrome, like I was always copying someone. Oh, and then just trying to be able to like know who I am without the input, the voices sounds bad, but like the ways in which the bully's words have turned into my voice in my head where I'm bullying myself. I saw some people online saying like we need to get together, we need to hang out. And I was like, well, I'm really into cults and it would be really fun to start my own cult without the negativity of the real cults. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna call it the Comfort Pile Cult. Come hang out and just chill on Discord and be productive if necessary. Or I really don't know yet. I don't know what it'll evolve into. Definitely will not be a real cult. I'm just putting that out there now. There will be no sacrifices, no crazy shit happening, no drugs.
You're obsessed with cults?
Oh yeah.
Like what?
My fear of accidentally joining a cult without knowing has sparked me to like just find out everything I can find out about like how do you end up in a cult.
How can any of our listeners join your comfort pile cult?
So I've made the Discord and you can access it through Coffee, which is linked on my Instagram. Or if you don't have Instagram, you can go through to Kofi. I'm on TikTok under Blaque Cherie, on Instagram as well. YouTube, I just changed to Blaque Cherie as well. Stuff, yeah.
Oh my God.
So I do have a sticker shop that is under construction, and I will be adding more stickers, and I'm gonna hold myself to this. And the website right now is Atelier Victoria Vanity. I will be making a shop on Ko-fi as well, on
Awesome.
Coffee, to be able to purchase the stickers and everything. So a sticker club or sticker cult, Comfort Pile sticker cult.
Okay, I'm typing that. That's gonna be like the subtitle. Comfort, hold on. Comfort pile sticker cult. It's
Yes.
stunning.
Comfort Pile Social Club.
And sticker cult, social club. Ooh, I cannot thank you enough. Like I have full
Of
body
course.
chills now because we're gonna
I'm
wind
so
down.
excited. It's so fun.
Is this your first podcast as a guest?
Yes, first ever.
Ding, 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 ding. Oh my gosh, congratulations. I can tell you, this is probably the first of very many for you because you
Thank
should be
you.
just so proud of yourself. Yeah, the viral thing is great, but it's beyond that. Like you're going authentic and it's inspiring me to go even more authentic. And I've never dyed my hair a color, and I kind of want to now. Like it's so beautiful.
Do it, do it, do it, do it. It's so freeing. And then at a certain point, I was getting so many looks, and I was like, but I used to get looks before, and it's like, I don't care. You know
That's
what I
great.
mean? Like
Yes,
before I
ma'am.
cared, even with black hair, I was like, why are they staring at me? But now it's like, oh, it's because I have pink hair. It's like so separated from myself that it's just like because before it was like I'm getting stares, why, what's wrong with my face? It's like, oh no, I have pink hair. Like just being able to like throw
Yeah.
that to somewhere else, amazing.
I love this. Thank you so much.
It's been so fun.
Kick ass.
Thank you,
Continue
thank
doing what you
you,
do. And I love your
thank
work.
you so much.